You're watching WCTV Eyewitness News. The Good Morning Show starts now.
Coming up on GMS, a new fire station is nearly complete in Thomas County. We explain its benefits coming up.
All right, we've got a busy weather day on tap. All quiet this morning, but we fired up the red banners today. I think we could find some big storms in the forecast. I guess we have to call it a First Alert Wednesday.
All right. Oh, yep. First Alert Wednesday. Yep. There we go. Now, when I saw that there was a hockey championship or something like that.
Yeah, I was up late last night.
Yeah, I figured. I said, oh my gosh, I bet you Rob was up late.
It was actually easy to go to bed. Once Vegas got up 4-5-1, I was like, you know what? I felt pretty good about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I realized we had a big weather day today. I'm like, the poor man, I'm sure he didn't get any sleep last night.
I'll sleep on the weekend. Hey, listen, we've got a lot to talk about with the forecast. Let me get back to the big board. We got plenty of things to go over. And first things first, there's not a lot going on right now, and there's not going to be early. So the rides into work are going to be just fine today. I'm a little more concerned about the rides home because not only should we find more storms today, but I think we're going to find bigger ones today. We've got some things that we don't normally see this time of year for sure, maybe not ever around here, lining up in the atmosphere, and that's where some of the concern comes from. And I'll say concern because I do think we're going to find some of those bigger storms. We've had some of them the past couple of days, but today's energy is lining up to give us more of those bigger storms and bigger storms. Now, it's 75 this morning in Tallahassee. It's 73 in Perry. Valdosta, we're at 69 degrees. I see some showers and storms up through parts of central Alabama right now, trying to move into parts of Georgia. Not a whole lot just yet. But watch on the futurecast as we get maybe towards like 2, 3, 4 o'clock, that wave right there. And we're going to get a couple of different waves of showers and storms. The sooner they start, the better, because that can limit some of the instability today. But I think we've got a pretty good chance to see not just some showers and storms with rain and lightning, but maybe some of those strong wind gusts, maybe some large hail. And I think the threat for tornadoes is real today, too. So plenty for us to keep our eyes on, especially to the north and west. Now, the quicker we bring in the clouds and showers, the better chance we have to keep those temperatures out of the 90s. But we got to 94 yesterday. We're likely going to get up into the 90s again today. I'll have the full breakdown in just a couple of minutes.
And of course, our WCTV weather team was able to put together some awesome information for our weather app. This is a great day to download it if you have not done so already. You can do it right now. We have this up on your screen, so that means just pull out your phone or your tablet, scan the code that's right there on the screen right now. If you do it with your camera, then it'll take you to your device's app store. The app is completely free. It'll give you weather alerts and anything you need to know wherever you are.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you get any photos or video of the weather or any storm damage, we'd love to see it, but please only get the video or the pictures if it's safe. Don't go running out into a storm, in a lightning storm, because you want to get a cool shot of the lightning.
Right.
That's not worth it. But if you do happen to get one and get one safely, you can go to the website and go to the Share It tab, and then you can send it to us, and then we can show it and we can see it, and then all the lawyers are happy too, and everybody wins there. So please, if you want to do that, do it. I'll probably end up doing a couple of Facebook Lives this afternoon, no matter where I am, while I'm hanging out with Luna, just because I'm sure people are going to want to know. So don't forget to find us. We're going to be all over the social media. Captain is going to be real busy this afternoon, but there are all of our social media handles for me and for Mike and for Josh and for Austin. So you got questions, those are the places to go. I'm usually pretty active on Twitter and Facebook on regular days. I'll probably be extra active on a day like this one.
Yeah, you really are good about making sure to inform people even when you aren't here in the building. You're still getting that information out there. All right, so pay attention, everybody. Okay, so moving on with our news for this morning, 6:04 right now, covering South Georgia. Thomas County's new fire station is nearing completion. The Two Bay Fire Station sits on the south side of Thomasville. As reporter Ashanti Isaac tells us, county leaders hope it will help firefighters cover more areas in the county.
The weather conditions weren't always favorable for contractors on the fire station project, but they weathered the storm, and now the new station has less than 2 months from opening.
The board is so proud of being able to build this station on the west side of Thomasville. We feel that this area is a growing area. We feel like we can reach our citizens in this area in a matter of minutes, because minutes and seconds is very important when you're dealing with emergency service.
Through a 3-shift rotation, there will be 12 workers at this new station, 4 a day, with 2 responding to fires and 2 responding to medical.
A current bay will be set up with 1 ambulance, 1 fire truck, and 1 service support vehicle for fire department. This station will respond primarily to the south end of the station. However, it is possible that they'll be responding to the north end and to the east end of the county.
There was an upgrade to technology that has been a few years out of date, but for the most part, it was mirrored on the other stations in the county.
So we have a bedroom that will have a closet and all the amenities they need to sleep over. We have our kitchen. We have our living area that we're standing in. We'll have 2 computers where they can sit down and do the necessary work for their job. The equipment's ever evolving. Now we do put in like charging stations outside because of all the battery packs that we have now that might need to be charged, where years ago we didn't worry about it.
The station is in the final stages. Based on the weather, though, commissioners expect it will be ready and open for service by August.
All right, a Florida state appeals court hearing arguments in Tallahassee focusing on the handling of public records related to that flight carrying migrants from Texas to Martha's Vineyard earlier this year. A nonprofit called the Florida Center for Government Accountability requesting those records after learning that the DeSantis administration facilitated the travel. When the governor's office didn't respond to the request, they sued. Now, an attorney for the governor's office accused them of trying to skip ahead in line to get the records before anybody else, also pointing towards Hurricane Ian, saying that the DeSantis administration was busy responding to the aftermath of a disaster and didn't have as much time to devote to records requests. Well, the attorney for the plaintiff argues that there's no justification that the governor's office to have such a large backlog of public records requests, saying that the governor's office never communicated with them, letting them know why there would be a delay in fulfilling the request.
And they specifically claim that the topic of this request had generated a recent 100 requests, so they knew the public very much wanted to know how their tax dollars were being spent and details about these events. And it's their constitutional and statutory responsibility to deliver those documents to the public in a timely fashion.
We think it would be ironic, one might even say perverse, if an agency had to spend so much time and resources responding to records requests about how it is performing its essential functions that it was forced to neglect those essential functions themselves.
Now, the governor's office did provide most of the documents requested after a Leon County Circuit judge ordered them to, but the plaintiffs argue that a large portion of the documents were improperly redacted.
6:08 now. In national news, the S&P 500 entered bull market territory last week, which means it hit a 20% rally from the low it fell to in October. The NASDAQ is enjoying a long streak of weekly gains, but could this be coming to an end? We'll know more today if Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell decides to announce another interest rate hike or put it on pause. John Lawrence reports.
This may be an especially sunny month for Wall Street and U.S. households.
We've had more than a year of interest rate hikes, and it does appear as if those dousing of inflation fires, the efforts by the Federal Reserve, do appear to be working.
After announcing numerous increases since March of 2022, the central bank is hinting that it may skip one for June.
The Fed has been administering a kind of medicine in the form of higher interest rates since March of last year. And like a patient that needs to recuperate, I think Federal Reserve officials want to sort of stand back, make some observations about how the economy is handling all of that.
But even if the Fed holds steady, analysts say another increase could come later this summer.
I don't think any consumers are really ready to jump up and down and say that, oh boy, you know, the fight against inflation is over and it's off to the races with spending.
The Fed's 10 consecutive interest rate hikes have also played a factor with the U.S. job market, bringing an end to the so-called Great Resignation when almost 50 million people quit their jobs in the 2 years following the pandemic. The government reports the number of people leaving their jobs dropped by 49,000 in April compared to March. and the so-called quitting rate is essentially back to the pre-pandemic average. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The May Producer Price Index reports are also due today, but investors say that's unlikely to change the Fed's June decision unless they show inflation rates are wildly above expectations.
Time now for First Alert Weather with meteorologist Rob Nucatola.
All right, our day planner starts with numbers in the 70s in most spots. Got a couple in the upper 60s. The key will be clouds and how quickly we can generate some. And then the next key will be how long we have to wait for those showers to get going. The day planner wants to keep those numbers from getting as warm as yesterday. We saw 94 yesterday, but that's because we had to wait, especially in parts of Florida, till 3, 4, 5 o'clock before we got any showers. Now today, I think we get a little bit more cloud cover earlier, so hopefully that slows the temperatures down a little. And if we can start to get a couple of showers by lunchtime, maybe that can also start to slow some of those temperatures down and limit some of the instability. Now, there's a lot of busy weather going on off to our west already. This is the first impulse of energy that's going to come through our area. The bigger one probably gets here later this afternoon, and that's when I think the biggest threat will be for the wind gusts like we saw with a bunch of the storms yesterday, for some of the hail like we saw with some of the storms yesterday, although yesterday's storms, we were talking mostly like penny to quarter sized hail. I think today the potential is for much larger hail, and I think also today the threat for tornadoes is much higher. We rarely ever get these enhanced or moderate threat risks levels around here, but our northwestern spots do have that moderate risk, and most of South Georgia has that enhanced risk, and that's when we start to expect those bigger and more dangerous storms. So today's going to be a really good day to just keep checking in with us. We'll be able to track these storms as they develop and let you know where they're headed. Now, as far as the temperatures this morning go, got a 69 in Valdosta and a 68 in Homerville. Pretty much everybody else between 70 and 75 except Apalachicola, where it's 81. I think as we go through our day today, the real chance for those showers kind of drops through the area this afternoon, this evening. I think there's going to be another decent chance to get wet earlier tomorrow, and yet more as we get into the day on Friday. So still a very active and very wet pattern for the next couple of days. We'll keep the rain chances around 70%. Still feels like we're going to see some spots that get into the 90s today, but the bigger story today, the potential for those dangerous storms.